And welcome to our shopper therapy session. The topic of today's conversation/session is integrated omni-channel marketing planning. We will delve into why it's so hard to do and what you can do to make it work. We know for a fact that it can be done, and we will pull from real life case studies and scars from our past experiences to give you some thought starters on how to succeed in becoming an integration leader. So, why did we focus on this topic? Well, I'm glad you asked. We believe that integrated marketing is really the next frontier in differentiating your brand from competition. Every CPG marketer has struggled or will struggle with integration at some point in their career. Let's turn this struggle into a career opportunity. This topic is being discussed all around the world, CPG boardrooms, online, and in panels at many of the most recent shopper industry events.
Yes, in fact, we just came back from the Shopper Marketing and Digital Grocery Summit in Chicago a couple of weeks ago, and the topic of integrated marketing was loud and clear. It is something that most CPGs are struggling with. It was the topic of many presentations. Many vendors recognize the issue within the CPG enterprise that integration is not working oftentimes and everybody is trying to figure it out. However, retailers, on the other hand, are just saying, figure it out, guys. Like, we don't care where money's coming from. We don't care whose budget it is. Unblur the budget, said Sam's Club. And Ahold tells us, figure out how to build trust within the CPG enterprise and with their retail partners. So let's dive deeper into this and figure out how we can create a sustainable integrated marketing planning process. But first, Craig, tell me, why did you call this presentation a therapy session?
Well, as you well know, in our frequent, very early morning coffee chats, I feel like I'm speaking to a shopper shrink when we chat, and thank goodness. Your past experience in the industry with shopper marketing and all your roles and your current work with CPG clients makes you a very empathetic listener. It's very liberating to vent my frustrations and learn from you that I'm not alone in the challenges that I and my team face.
Yeah, that's true. I actually have heard that many times. In fact, I started Shopperations because I was one of the frustrated marketers who was trying to figure out how to do her job without proper tools and transparency and processes that work for me. And I've been solving this problem for a decade now. In fact, you and I met back in 2018, I believe, when you were starting to formulate and run shopper marketing function at Riviana Foods. That was a very ambitious and challenging project, but I think your background helped you succeed.
Yes, indeed. And who'd have thought what was ahead of us back in 2018, huh? When we got together. It's true, though. Shopper marketing connects all the CPG disciplines. That's what attracts most of us to this discipline because it brings together, commerce and its focal point, which is the customer, right? Customer commerce happens at the customer, and that's why we all need to stay very focused on the customer plans. Through my client roles in brand marketing, sales, and category insights at companies like Nestle, Borden, Riviana Foods, and others, that I've learned how shopper marketing unifies and integrates marketing and sales efforts. Then I'm later in my career on the agency side with Advantage and Competitive Edge. We've been collaborating a lot with top CPGs to kind of break down these silos and make sure that we are delivering this seamless shopper experience that a lot of us are all trying to get after.
Yeah, so the point of this slide is just to show that between you and I, we probably have a few decades and a couple of dozen use cases on how integrated marketing works, doesn't work, and what it takes to fix it. So let's look into it. Let's the session begin. So, Mr. Marketer, please get yourself comfortable and tell me what's been on your mind.
Oh, Olga, where do I start? It seems like I'm both anxious and exhausted all at the same time. My team and I work very hard trying to stay on top of things to achieve alignment with all of our cross-functional partners. But at the end of the day, I feel like all we've accomplished is that we got ourselves even more confused. It's
Mm-hmm.
like the old saying, everybody wants progress, but no one wants change, right? I feel like I know where we want to go, but we can't seem to get everyone on board for the journey. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, tell me more. I just want some examples.
Oh, geez. How much time do we have in this session? All right. Well, let me try to unpack it. So let me give you a few examples. Last month, I went through our annual operating planning with all kinds of enthusiasm and excitement. We meet with all of our brand teams. We sat through, I don't know, 15 different meetings and realized that next year's brand plans are absolutely not going to be ready in time for our customer JBPs. What a
Mm-hmm.
what a totally missed opportunity, right? We have these upcoming JBP meetings with top retailers where we are supposed to commit to a retail media plan for our top brands, and I only have high level direction, no commitment, no budget details to discuss with them. Ugh.
Oh, that's familiar.
Yeah, so well, there's more. I can unpack these all day, right? So here's another example. Just this week, we had a typical time-consuming fire drill, right? We needed to total up all the retailer-specific RMN spends for the current year to share with one of our buyers. It took us several days to pull together because no one team owns it and no one is sure what qualifies for RMN and what doesn't. I'm not sure what we actually got at the end of the day was accurate. Don't tell anybody that. But I'm pretty sure this number will become obsolete tomorrow anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I can keep going here. So, and one more final example. So my boss, fantastic woman, says, "Hey, I'm going to put ROI measurement on your personal development plan." Fantastic. I heartily believe this in it, and I endorse it. So I found several vendors who are ready to help, but I am missing all of the data of what actually needs to be measured to get to these final ROI measures. My team's taxonomy and level of detail they capture is all over the place, and it's going to take us weeks to reformat and even align our spreadsheets to begin data modeling. Need I continue?
Hold on, just let me make sure. This was pretty vivid. So just to summarize, you're dealing with a siloed, slow, and linear processes where life is not linear anymore. There are so many blurred lines between national media, trade, shopper marketing, e-com, and retail media spend. And it's hard to speak the same language with your colleagues. It's impossible to efficiently share information and provide the value of what your team is providing, that your team is creating, prove that you're actually doing a good job. That's a lot of stress for sure. And has it always been like this, Craig? Why do you think it's so hard?
Well, I mean, it's omnichannel marketing has always become one of the most stressful jobs in the CPG enterprise because of its inherent connectivity with all of the disciplines, right? You're kind of touching everybody in the landscape. We sit between brand and sales, and we're constantly trying to reconcile their two very different sets of, often contradictory objectives. Is it base sales we want to grow? Is it total sales? Are we focused on ROI? What is the actual job to get done? Making things even harder are retailers now emerging with their RMN platforms so extremely fast, demanding incremental investments, offering new, untested opportunities and new ways of partnership that were never even possible before. We are learning how to sell online, optimize our product pages, and buy digital media all on the fly. It's a lot. Our scope has always been enormous. So, hey, that's nothing new. We are in charge of activating many brands at multiple retail accounts. We partner with multiple vendors and deploy a broad spectrum of tactics, and our cross functional stakeholder network has always been very complex. In addition to that, our budgets are always fragmented and constantly changing due to retailer dynamics and internal brand shifting priorities. Staying on top of this with an Excel spreadsheet is like so 80s, it's simply impossible. Trust me,
Oh,
we have tried.
oh my goodness. Yes, indeed. I can relate. In fact, when I was in the industry practicing shopper marketing, even before this madness of RMN and retail media and e-commerce, it was impossible to do my job in Excel. Like the budgets were coming from all over the place, the changes were happening constantly. And especially as you become a middle manager and you're trying to stay on top of what your team is doing, that becomes just a complete nightmare. You feel disconnected and uninformed. And I remember that when I was looking at my sales team who was using their sleek TPM software to pivot the data and just answer questions quickly, I was so jealous. I really was dreaming of something that would help us automate our planning process and make it better.
It's so true. I feel like I have marketing envy, right? Because on the upside though, marketing I think is the last frontier of automation. So I think there's hope. Human resources, as you said, finance, sales, analytics, supply chain, they all have their slick systems of record where they keep track of all of their numbers and can create a common version of the truth. Marketing, on the other hand, is still in these micro silos with various spreadsheet trackers, third-party vendor portals, PowerPoint and vendor PDF recaps all floating around if you can even find them.
Oh yeah, let me illustrate your point. I have this nice slide. I did it for one of the webinars. We talked about data harmonization. And when it comes to marketing, they deal with other cross-functional functions in the enterprise, which all have their own data models, their systems where they have their data collected and saved and reported on. However, when marketing gets ready to report, it's all in PowerPoints and Excel and Word documents and PDFs, like you said. So marketing is a victim of other people's hierarchies, other people's data models, and they have to constantly contort themselves to manually package their information to fit their worldview. And ironically, marketing has really giant scope and big money that they manage, and they still have no system of record, which is a really big miss. To me, this is the biggest gap and the biggest opportunity in the industry is to build your own worldview of how marketing data should be coded, should be used, should be feeding into other enterprise systems, and only then integration will be possible. This actually is a huge problem. So it sounds annoying, but it's more than just annoyance. We've done the time studies with the marketers in the industry, and it turns out that 52% on average, sometimes more, of their time is spent on just non-value added internally facing activities such as responding to emails, putting together presentations, creating manual reports, formatting data, just looking for basic facts and then compiling them into an email with bullet points. And this is costing you resources, it's costing you time, it's costing you results. It's really a huge hidden problem that not everybody realizes that exists. It means that you don't have time to do meaningful research, to test new messaging, to learn new media technologies, work on strategies and joint business planning, the things that we really are hired to do. We're a victim of this administrative burden that exists. So Craig, how do you deal with this stress and lack of tools and systems today?
Yeah, well, that's a great question, especially now that you've reminded me that half of our time goes to, the things we don't really want to be doing. I'd love to tell you that we're working smarter, but it just feels like right now we're just working harder. We let things fall through the cracks. We're not superheroes, but we just have to make choices with how we deal with our time. CPG marketers are just set up more alignment meetings in response to these challenges where they share updates and we all try to get on the same page for like a day and then we'll do it all over again. They tend to email a lot and create more trackers to document various parts of the process. My God, there are so many of them. I think there's even now meta trackers within the universe.
What's that? Is that a hit tracker for tracking trackers?
Oh my God, precisely. Then in addition, they hire more people like junior associates, super smart, to manually collect information and update in a central tracker, and they get frustrated. Others just outsource this pain to an agency, but then the pain and the inefficiencies are gone, and they just become well hidden. It just becomes it's outside of our organization, and we just have to go find the information somewhere else.
Yeah, that sounds very, very familiar. So I can empathize with you. How are you going to deal with this? What are you going to do about it? Perhaps your IT department can help.
Well, I'd like to say that that would be a solution, but I'm not quite that naive. So, having kicked around the industry for a while on the client side and in the agency space, IT, great partners, but they're not able to really comprehend your pain like we're talking about here. They just never have lived it. It's not their fault. And it'll be hard to explain unless you take them on a journey and let them shadow you in your job for an extended period of time. Most of them will likely hire industry consultants to help us. That's because their priorities are really A, major enterprise-wide solutions, or B, like enterprise security, all of which is super important. They have limited resources as well, like the rest of us, and unless you're able to make a case for saving multiple millions of dollars, they'll likely not prioritize your pain in the sea of other opportunities they have to make a difference.
So how do you go about it instead?
Well, that's the struggle. I think at this point, I want to focus on building a case for change, specifically for enabling data harmonization and process automation, first within my team and then with the rest of the enterprise. I guess you could say like I want to get our own house in order first. By doing that, I can build transparency and trust with my cross-functional stakeholders and then save time for my team to do those things that we talked about. This will give us bandwidth and visibility to be more collaborative, proactive, and a strategic partner to our friends in sales and brand and finance. I feel like
Wow.
building a data model and like a solid data flow that supports the process is a prerequisite for future enterprise-wide system integration. What do you think?
Well, that sounds fantastic. It sounds like you have a really good idea of what the next steps are. So I would love to follow your progress. Our session for today is over, but I would love to see you again and check things out and understand how far you've come. So it's been a while, Craig. Why did you disappear? I was kind of worried about you. You haven't come to our sessions. Is everything all right?
Oh yeah, it's been fine. It's just been a crazy journey. So thank you for seeing me and thanks for having me back. I was very busy implementing a lot of the new ways of working with my team and clients that you and I had talked about before. I got to tell you about this new tool and how we leverage this new tool, Shopperations software, for different companies, both big and small, and both client and agency roles. I'm very excited. First, let me just ground you a little bit in what this Shopperations tool actually does. Not unlike the TPM systems that you talked about within sales, Shopperations becomes the main tool where all of the marketers can do their work on a daily basis. It's where we keep one version of the truth for both our clients and for us. Shopperations is based in the cloud and helps us manage the entire life cycle of a marketing fund, from budget release to post-program analytics. Here's how it looks. First, we deploy funds to our field-based customer-facing teams in Shopperations, which triggers a series of notifications to the team to inform them that they can start planning. When the team plans the tactics, they document all of the pertinent details, such as the retailer name, the product names we're focusing on, of course, execution dates, and then those critical tactics and vendors. We can discuss the plans in the cloud. We can tag each other and effectively collaborate both in real time and in asynchronous and asynchronistically. File sharing and digital briefs allow clients to better communicate with their agency leads instead of sending endless emails looking for creative store lists and invoices, whatever the ad hoc request is. They just log into Shopperations and it's all there. As a result of this planning, calendars are rendered automatically, which is a great way to save time when preparing share outs for our sales and brand partners, or even sharing with our retailer partners as well. And then thanks to the automation features, we can actualize each tactic faster by bringing in the invoices, deductions, clearinghouse redemptions, whatever it might be, bringing all those expenses right into Shopperations. The actualized program spend is a great raw material for any type of post-program analytics, be it an MMA analysis, ROI, or even a sales lift analysis, or any of the other types of recaps that you or your clients may want. And at any point in time, we can pull a report and demonstrate how many funds are planned, how many are committed, how many are actualized, and how many are still pending. Did I do a good job describing the essence of Shopperations, Olga?
Oh, yes, you did. You did much better than I would have done, actually. So, can you share some examples of how this system was used in real life and what sort of benefits you were able to achieve?
Yeah, I think that's it, right? We've all been classically trained in features and benefits. So I told you a little bit about the features. Let's talk about some of the benefits for clients and the teams that are working with them. First of all, it's unlocking creativity with the teams by reducing that time spent on spreadsheet reconciliation, allowing more of our teams focus on innovative shopper engagement strategies, right? That's what really our cross-functional teams and our clients want us to do. It empowers our powerful team members with comprehensive retailer budgets and briefs to confidently plan and execute programs. It facilitates faster decision making by providing shopper marketing leads with real time access to the data, no longer waiting for, hey, what's the new budget? We can react to those budget changes quickly with the confidence of knowing what programs are committed and uncommitted. It strengthens our reputation for managing the money. And this is huge by delivering live updates on budgets, phasing program variances, reallocating underspends, finding solutions quickly for overspends, invoice tracking, and streamlined responses to those dreaded end of year audit requests. We can offer multiple views for internal and external stakeholders across brands, for sales, for the brand team, even for our customer teams. Shopper has its own view, and now the emerging e-commerce view is available as well. We can promote cross-functional collaboration with integrated calendars, which is really what we wanted to talk about. We can
Mhm.
equip our sales teams for those joint business planning success and detailed insights into the past and planned retailer investments and outcomes, and just be generally better partners to our retailers.
Wow, Craig, I love hearing these stories. It sounds like you've made a lot of progress, but it also feels like a huge undertaking and a big change for your team. Was there a resistance? Was it hard to pull it off? And what did you learn along the way?
Yeah, I'd love to tell you that it was easy all along the way, but nothing worth doing is ever really easy. So yeah, there were a lot of learnings for sure. So let me maybe just share a couple of the most important takeaways, and hopefully this is helpful when you talk to some of your other patients. First of all, you need to find a partner who understands your pain. Working with Shopperations was easy because they understood us before we even said a word. The team has real CPG marketing background and was able to expand our thinking because they had so much experience working with other big and sophisticated clients. So that was important.
Hmm.
You need to fix the process before you automate it. You can't just drop in a new system and expect everything's going to be fine. You got to map out who the important integration partners are in your organization. Who are your stakeholders? Who are you going to win with? What information do you need to share with them to effectively collaborate? And then you need to establish a cadence to share those plans and results. And most importantly, you just got to get started. Don't let the perfect become the enemy of the good. We got to move forward. Knowing what information is important to your stakeholders will help you build a customized solution that will help drive creative conversations. The other thing I would say is just simply change takes time, right? Sharing information is sometimes scary and oftentimes it's clunky when you first start, but you got to stick with it. Repetition, reinforcement, and leadership challenges and inquiries aren't a bad thing. They're telltale signs of adoption and progress. Shoperations is a very user friendly tool, but even it had a bit of a learning curve. Had I not insisted that we all use it as the one source of truth, my team would have fallen back on their old trusty Excel trackers, but that would do me no good. We implemented a repeatable monthly process around Shoperations, and I made sure that my team knows that I use the data from the sister system only to answer all sorts of questions. This was a huge motivation to abandon all those old trackers and meta trackers.
Yeah, indeed, I can testify that usually it takes a couple of years for a system like Shoperations to truly stick and start bringing the benefit to the users because the following year there's a lot of copying of old programs into the future and the knowledge around the usability is so much better. So people embrace it and run with it. And the following year planning is so much faster than the first time around. I also wanted to add the last point that I learned from multiple engagements with CPG clients is that IT plays a role and it plays a big role, but you need to understand and embrace the role with a specific mindset. You need to manage the expectations about what they can and cannot do for you. They're a great partner to bring a new vendor on board to verify the security features and make sure that the solution is going to fit well within the ecosystem, but they're really not because they don't understand your pain and they don't understand the requirements for a system. They cannot lead this process for sourcing a solution. They can help you along the way, but they really do not even know where to go and who to ask. So bring them along the way, make sure they're part of the process, but you should lead. You should definitely own this project and bring them along as partners. One of the biggest things that they helped us with when we were brought on is to integrate through SSO just to enable security features as well as bring the data from other places into Shoperations. So integration with other third-party software enterprise systems will become a place where IT can really add a lot of value. So don't forget about them. Definitely have them in the conversation, but lead the project and gather requirements and source the solution yourself because it really is important that you understand what the vendors have to offer. So, Craig, was it all worth it? Were you able to demonstrate some tangible improvements in specific areas in your marketing operations?
Wow, we're going deep into therapy now. Yeah, for sure. It's absolutely worth it. So, building this cloud system of record that we talked about with Shopperations, where anyone in the enterprise can see what my team is doing, gave us many advantages. The obvious first one is that it freed up the team's time from the whole manual reporting thing and the constant alignment meetings. We estimate, similar to your number, about 35 to 40% of our time was freed up thanks to Shopperations, primarily due to the reporting automation and decreased one-off inquiries for updates and alignment calls that take so much time. We are also a lot more transparent with what we do with the brand's dollars. In fact, we train brand managers now how to query Shopperations so they can see how their brand is activated across channels and customers. This fostered great strategic conversations with them. Rather than looking backwards and always trying to rationalize what we did, most of our conversations now honestly are about how we can continually optimize our retailer program. Do we have underperforming items in need of a boost prior to a category review? Can we effectively deploy incremental or unused funds? These are the issues we're wrestling with now instead of ticking and tying. A solid metric of how well your team is regarded is always the size of the budgets we're entrusted with, right? Age-old issue.
Mhm.
Thanks to the transparency and ability to manage the money, we are often the beneficiary now of incremental funding. Shopper and e-commerce budgets have been growing year over year. One of our clients even grew their budget 7x over the 5-year period that we integrated this change. Some of this was due to the increased reliance on search and display as part of the RMN growth. The shopper team was able to make a strong case for managing those expanding investments because of our infrastructure. We made a case for why RMN spend must be managed by our team holistically rather than by a media agency or another siloed RMN team. By managing these brand budgets responsibly and transparently, you're almost guaranteed that your team's responsibilities will grow. And because no good deed goes unpunished, I have a whole set of new problems.
Like what could be the downside?
I know, right? Well, now I kind of suffer from imposter syndrome with all this success. I need to, to quickly become an expert on all this new RMN capabilities and this optimization that we're all talking about so much. Can my
Mm,
team and I figure this RMN phenomenon out and maximize its impact for our clients? Or I'm just being honest, there is so much to test and optimize, it's a bit mind-boggling. But
that's
hey, welcome to the shopper world, right? The only constant is change. The future will favor those, as we say, who are transparent, agile, curious, and willing to test and learn. Integrating RMN is the hot topic today, but who knows what the buzz will be for tomorrow's session? The speed and scale of optimization is going to increase exponentially, and we need tools that can keep up.
Amen. So well, at least you have free time now to deal with all of this new stuff that's coming your way. Most CPGs are still drowning in spreadsheets. Kudos to you for laying a solid foundation for your team to be able to iterate and learn all these new things. And we will tackle imposter syndrome at our next session. This was a great therapy session, Craig. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And dear listeners, thank you for your attention. I hope you found today's venting session helpful and inspiring. I hope you can probably relate to the struggles that we talked about and hopefully experience the successes ahead with integrated planning done well. It's not you, it's the nature of our industry. Integrated marketing is hard for a reason and it takes time to fix, but it's not impossible with the right mindset and expectations and of course the right partners and tools. And speaking of partners, I am now when I'm not actually in session with Olga, I am actually leading strategy work for our key CPG accounts, Competitive Edge Media and Media Marketing. I need to do that one over. All right. And speaking of partners, when I'm not on the couch receiving therapy from Olga, I am leading strategy work for our key CPG accounts at Competitive Edge, a West Coast boutique integrated marketing agency. Our team is very skilled in building a lean, transparent, and repeatable process for how to plan, execute, and actualize marketing programs to achieve the vision of integrated marketing, what we were talking about today, developing integrated commerce strategies to maximize retailer opportunities, conveying those all-important brand stories through captivating creative content that performs well in both the physical and digital retail environments, identifying, buying, and optimizing the media that aligns our shoppers' behavior and preferences, and fostering a fun, collaborative spirit, and celebrating, of course, all of our triumphs.
Thank you, everybody, for the attention. I wanted to share both Craig and I's contact information. Reach out to us through LinkedIn. Our email addresses are listed here. And I would love to also demonstrate Shopperations and explain how it could work for your organization. You can scan this QR code to see a short video about how Shopperations works if you haven't had enough information right now. And that page will also have a form to fill out a contact request. Thanks. Have a great day.